Can you tell me your name and age?
My name is Hector Clua and I'm 18 years old.
My name is Paulina Salazar and I'm 19 years old.
My name is Javier Samperio and I'm 19 years old.
Do you know anything about philosophy?
Yes, I have learned a lot of philosophy throughout this semester.
Yes. What do you...
Yes, I've learned some philosophy during high school.
Yes, I've learned some stuff during high school.
For you, what is philosophy?
To me, philosophy is thinking from another perspective, asking yourself some questions in order to reach to some kind of knowledge.
For me, philosophy is searching for those things that cannot be answered easily or proven by anyone.
For me, philosophy is the way people has perceived and studied the world around them. It's like a science because in the end, what it does is it tries to explain our origins, and that's what science is all about. It's trying to explain why things are the way they are, why we are the way we are, and yeah, that's it.
With which philosopher do you think you relate the most?
I think Epicurus.
I think Plato.
Descartes.
Why Epicurus?
I think Epicurus has a simple way to see life. I mean, he describes happiness as something that it isn't as hard to achieve as others think. You just need to satisfy your needs, eliminate your fear to death, and avoid pain. So it's really a simple perspective of life.
I chose Plato because he says there are two different worlds, the ideal and the sensible one, where the ideal one is the good, the perfect and beautiful, and it's the creator of our world, which is not perfect. There's crime, there's people that is not healthy, so yes, and also he says that in order to be happy, the soul must be released from the body and its pleasures, and I think that living according to our pleasures is egocentric and selfish. And last but not least, I think that the way he says that people have acrasia and arete, which are different substances that have qualities and perfection, is the main reason why some people are good at school and others at sports or music.
I like Descartes because he says that men should always try and question everything there is to be questioned. And even though I don't agree with everything he says, I do like this about him because the more we question everything there is around us, then the closer we get to a bigger reality, right? The more we try and disprove something, yet we keep failing, then we understand that something must be very real about our world.
What is his ontological theory?
Epicurus says that man has three main appetites. So the first one is natural and necessary, which are things like eat or sleep. The second one is natural but not necessary, like sexual desires. And the third one are not necessary nor natural, like the desire to be famous.
Plato said that man has a body and a soul, where the body is the prison of the soul, and if you live according to its pleasures, you will be unhappy, while the soul is this perfect, divine, and fruitful property. The soul is the result of transmigration, and it is immortal. Life is always an eternal return, and in order to prove this, there is the cycle recession and the reminiscence and the relation with ideas.
Well, Descartes' idea is that, well, his ontology theory is that humans are born with innate ideas. They are born with. Uh, it's like a mold they are born with inside their minds. They already have a certain way, a certain structure within their learning process. Also, he says that we should always ignore our senses because our senses will deceive our minds. The way we perceive things creates our own reality, but that doesn't mean that is the reality.
How do you relate the philosopher you chose, either to yourself or to life itself?
I can relate with Epicurus in a way that he sees happiness as something easy to get, something achievable. So, in my personal opinion, I don't need too much to be happy. I just need to satisfy my basic needs and lose the fear to death. Because when you lose the fear to death, you live without limits, and then you can be happy.
I think Plato's theory can relate to life because there's people that are born with some special qualities. Like, for example, Justin Bieber, he knows how to play some instrument without nobody teaching him. And there's a lot of people like him. And I believe they are just remembering stuff they used to know, and now they just remember.
Well, as I said, I think that people have to question everything, and the only way we can acquire knowledge, your teachers can teach you something, yet true knowledge comes from us. Knowledge comes from one's curiosity and one's will to learn. That's the point. That's why you have to question everything, so that you can learn by yourself, and that's how you truly acquire the things that you know.
Is there anything you don't like about your philosopher, and if so, what would you change?
I would change his theory that you have to avoid pain every time in order to be happy, because it's impossible. You will always find a way to feel pain, and it's not bad because pain can be the motor engine that can make you feel better or make you work harder. So I don't like his theory that you have to avoid pain every single time.
I don't like Plato's epistemology theory because I don't think it really answers the question, how do we acquire knowledge? So I will just change it something more like to the modern times. I wouldn't choose either rational or empiricism. I will just, like Kant did, synthesize them in order to answer the epistemological question.
What I don't like about Descartes' theory is that I don't believe in innate ideas. I don't think that people are born with a certain structure inside their minds. Instead, I think that people have empty minds and they start building by themselves. Maybe it has to do with the environment that surrounds them, but I don't think they are born with innate ideas. Also, I agree that our perceptions, our senses can deceive us, but also I think that our senses are the only way we can learn since we're kids. And since we're little kids, we touch everything, we explore, we taste, we do everything we can in order to learn. So that's the two things I don't like about Descartes.